find your lack of faith disturbing.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. What is happening? Why am I floating? What are you doing to me?
Master Yoda, you survived.
No, man. I'm pretty sure you're talking about a guy from Star Wars. I'm John 117. I am not a green little puppet. This isn't Star Wars. I don't know why you're using the Force right now. You have the wrong guy.
Your arrogance blinds you, Master Yoda.
Seriously, I am not Yoda.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Fuck! Oh, fuck! Oh, come on, man. Please put me
If
down.
Master Obi-Wan caught me doing this, he'd be very grumpy.
What the fuck are you? Oh my god, shit! Ah.
Do you have off switch?
Yeah, it's right next to the prostate. Or is that the on switch?
How you doing?
Crash Mandalorian, you're really gonna go back to a 12-year-old game to review it and tell me how bad it is?
Is that like a personal attack or something? Or...
Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here, or should I say, I am.
When people reference Halo's TLJ moment, which is shorthand for the moment that split the fandom and sent the franchise down a different and worse path, a lot of people refer to Halo 5 as being that moment. The TLJ before The Last Jedi was a thing, if you will. I champion this sentiment for three main reasons. 1. The fundamental quality in storytelling, being far worse than its original counterpart. 2. The character assassination of a beloved character that's been with the franchise since the beginning. And 3. The retconning of established lore to tell their shitty story. Well, if Halo 5 is the TLJ of the Halo franchise, Halo 4 is absolutely the Force Awakens of the franchise. An installment whose poor quality is often overlooked because of how absolutely awful its successor is. A story that does no work to bridge the gap between its predecessor and itself. A story that relies on external media to justify the poor world building in the product itself. As I mentioned in previous videos, I am playing through all of the important Halo games on repeat with my daughter, who absolutely loves the universe and characters. She always gets very emotional at the end of Halo Reach, and the end of Halo 3 when Sergeant Johnson dies. She is as invested in this universe as I was, and all I had to do was put a controller in her hand. A couple months ago, we decided to give Halo 4 a chance. She immediately didn't like the fact that we were fighting elites, so she wanted to stop. I wasn't going to argue with her. Fuck the 343 games, am I right? Anyways, a couple months later, I said to her that I really wanted to play through it, to find all of the pros and cons of the game and remember why I hated it in the first place. I went into this playthrough with as open of a mind as I could muster, and boy oh boy, I'm here today to squash the main defense I see of it being, it's not that bad, because it is. On that note, we shouldn't even be saying, not that bad in defense of things that cost so much money, and so many people are working on, and are supposed to carry on the legacy of something we've loved for years. We need to raise our standards, people. And I'm not just talking about Halo here. For the record, I will not be using external 343 lore, as in the books, to validate or justify any of the decisions made in this game. That would be like using Star Wars sequel trilogy novelizations to justify any of the retardation in those movies. It is a silly thing to do, and doesn't actually make the piece of media you're currently playing or watching any better on its own. You can go into a game with the knowledge from reading a book, but that doesn't actually make the game any better by its own right. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's get into point number 1. I've lumped these 2 points together because chronologically, the elites being an enemy faction was the first thing that threw me out of the game. And you are required to read books to understand why this, among many other things in this game, is even happening. When transferring mediums, you must establish your world from the ground up. When you go into The Lord of the Rings, you're not required to read the trilogy beforehand. When I watched Arcane, I knew absolutely nothing about League of Legends, but I understood the world and characters thoroughly. On the flip side, the Halo TV show wants to do its own timeline while doing no world building of its own. The creators of that show absolutely rely on the viewer knowing things about Halo from the games and books. Replaying Halo 4 and making this video has me thinking back to my first time ever playing the game. When Halo 4 released, I was in basic training. I didn't play Halo 4 until late 2013 or early 2014. I had no idea. Some new developers were put in charge by Microsoft to carry Halo on because Bungie had left. I was the type of guy that was completely unaware of what was going on in the industry, and I didn't really care either. I had other shit to worry about. I had finally gotten settled into my barracks, started my job, and set aside some time to start gaming again. I bought Halo 4 and was super excited to see what was next for the Master Chief and Cortana. Being a Halo superfan since I was a child, and not having consumed any Halo media in about 2 years. Wait, hang on a second, let's go back. So this elite's initial course of action was to approach the Master Chief cloaked, with a sword drawn. And then, for whatever reason, even though he's about to swing down at Master Chief's head, while Master Chief is in a vulnerable position, he decloaks himself, even though he could strike him with a cloak. His goal is to kill the thing in front of him and survive the encounter, right? So why did he just say, hey man, here I am, you can go ahead and kill me now? That was just stupid.
I thought we had a truce with the Covenant.
Yeah, I thought so too. And I also don't remember them looking like that, but that's besides the point. What's going on, Master Chief?
A lot can happen in 4 years. Either way, he's probably not alone. We should be careful.
I sure hope we're going to get more on that, since the elite human alliance was such a critical and beloved part of Halo. I really hope they dedicate a lot of time to explaining why we're fighting elites again. In any case, let's carry on with the review. I can remember how hyped I felt when Cortana said,
I need you.
and the Chad himself wakes up. That excitement was immediately squashed the second I had to throw an elite down an elevator shaft and then waltz into the next room and assassinate another one. What the fuck? Why am I killing an elite right now? We had an alliance with them, and it's only been 5 years, right? The last interaction we saw between an elite and a human was this incredible handshake.
I remember how this war started, what your kind did to mine. I can't forgive you, but you have my thanks for standing by him to the end. Hard to believe he's dead.
Were it so easy.
This immediately sucked me out of the game because I am a huge fan of the Elite Human Alliance. It's part of the reason I adore the Bungie games and can praise Halo 2 to no end. Well, I didn't find out until years later, because I never used to get involved with meta information, that you needed to read some good old Halo books from 343 to understand just what in the hell is going on. To this day, I still haven't, nor will I ever read their stuff, because they've taken an awesome sci-fi world and made it incredibly lame. However, I did get some info by reading Reddit threads and chatting with some people that there were many smaller factions of elites, and this faction didn't fuck with the Arbiter. Led by this Jewel Madama guy, who isn't the main antagonist by the way, they wanted to continue fighting humanity because he presumed the humans would want to fight them anyways. I guess some other factions still believe in the great lie of the Covenant, but whatever. That information was not given to the player, why would any of that matter? I'm bringing this up to talk about how they could have made this stuff work, but because the information wasn't in the game, it is a major world-building flaw. Narratively, it would have made way more sense if we got a really long intro cutscene, just like in Halo 2, explaining the state of the universe. We could have been introduced to this Jewel Madama and understood why we're fighting this faction of elites despite the truce. We could have gotten some development for this side character that should have been the main antagonist, the same way we did for Truth and Tartarus. The Halo 2 cutscenes are a masterclass in world building. The new developers should have taken notes from their predecessors. I suppose they were blinded by Halo's majesty.
Blinded?
Instead, we got none of that. I think I remember 343 stating that you don't need to read the books to enjoy the games. But that is an utter lie. Unless they mean from a multiplayer perspective, but that would be a very stupid thing to say. Gamers should not be required to read a trilogy of books to understand the game's story they are currently playing. The Bungie Halo games did not rely on novelizations to portray to the player the story. The books were there if you wanted extra information, but they were not required. 343 went the opposite way. where the books are now required to understand the story we're telling in the games. It is actually extremely mind-boggling to me that anybody on the creative team at 343 Industries decided that this was a good idea. It is a video game franchise, for one, but it wouldn't even make sense for movies. Could you imagine if you were on the hype train after A New Hope, and then you were gonna go watch The Empire Strikes Back? And you didn't know anything because the internet didn't really exist back then, so you go sit down in the theater and then this big black screen pops up with white text that says, "I sure hope you read the required homework before you came to this movie. If not, the people who did read it are going to call you stupid for not knowing the stuff." And if Lucasfilm comes out and says, "You don't actually need to read the books to understand the story," when you very clearly do, the people defending this decision are just going to appeal to the meta and say, "Lucasfilm said that you don't need to read the books, so you don't." Well, that's not really how it works, because, circling all the way back to Halo 4, why the fuck are we fighting elites? Well, if you went a couple years without gaming because, you started your adult life and you went and started a career or went into the military or went to college and started partying and drinking and gaming wasn't really a top priority for you, and then you're like, holy shit, the new Halo game's out, I should pick that up, and you go in and you have to assassinate an elite, you're gonna say, what the actual fuck? I didn't sign up for this. You didn't want this. You didn't ask for this. But suddenly, you're fighting elites again. It doesn't make any sense. And we're not getting into Halo 5 today. The weird thing, and the worst thing, is that they required more reading to get into Halo 5's story. And now that we're all the way up to Halo Infinite, they just ditched pretty much the entire story of Halo 4 and 5 and made Infinite. Infinite. A way to save time. That was a weird blooper. But I think we just figured something out together. Halo Infinite. Infinite. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's get back to Halo 4. What I would assume is 343 really wanted to hit Halo fans with the member berries in this intro cutscene rather than develop the current state of the universe. They wanted the camera floating through the destroyed dawn, with the muddled voice of Cortana desperately trying to wake the Master Chief up. They wanted to hit us with the inverse of Chief telling Cortana, "Wake me when you need me." They wanted Cortana to say the line, "I need you." Mind you, this cutscene is shot beautifully and is extremely immersive, but from a storytelling perspective, it tells us nothing about why the broken ship is under attack. They went for spectacle and nostalgia rather than explaining just what the hell is going on. Kind of reminds me of a certain other movie. The thing is, you could have made this work. If you wanted to have Cortana say the line and shoot the cutscene the exact same way, you could have put the Jewel Madama cutscene beforehand to assist in telling your story. You could have had a scene following the destruction of the Covenant and Jewel Madama taking command of the remaining forces. Not sure where the brutes are in this game, but let's not get hung up on that. During a conversation between Jewel and his lieutenants, he could explicitly say that they need to find and kill the demon to aid in their war against humanity. Once that cutscene is over, you then hard cut to the intro cutscene as it is, and the player understands why there is a faction of elites trying to kill you, so it isn't a surprise when you assassinate the first elite. You could have had the nostalgia and spectacle of that scene while also giving us all the information we needed to start the game. I don't know why they did it, but it seems that every time we get introduced to something new in the 343 universe, you need to have read something to get it at all. Oh, but don't worry, gamer. We'll start kind of explaining what's going on with a bunch of in-game dialogue between John and Cortana. Now, Chief never used to talk during gameplay, ever. But now we're using that tactic to explain story elements while climbing elevator shafts and fighting enemies. Don't miss what they're talking about, or you might be even more confused. I am fine with Chief talking in-game. That's not really something to get hung up on as a negative. But they absolutely should not be putting chungously important narrative points in in-game dialogue. You're focusing on too much while trying to hear what they're saying. If you are trying to convey to the player a massive shift in the state of affairs in your universe, you should allow the player to watch a proper cutscene like that in Halo 2. Halo 1 to Halo 2 was a major shift in the state of affairs of the universe, and they didn't confuse the player by having in-game dialogue to explain why we're playing as the Arbiter all of a sudden. If you look up a YouTube video of all of the Halo 4 cutscenes, there has to be, and are, many parts of the video with gameplay footage, because so much of what is being said during gameplay is relevant to the story. That's absolutely ridiculous. Unlike the Halo 2 cutscenes, which a lot of people go to YouTube to watch, all of the Halo 2 Blur cutscenes are just cutscenes. With that, Halo 4 is kicking off a completely different story that goes in a direction most were not expecting, so this could just add to the confusion. Why not just make a longer, more substantive cutscene? Oh, because that would be a good idea, and 343 is notorious for making terrible decisions. To end this section on required reading, it would have been wise for the developers to give the players the necessary information they needed to take in the story of the game. Halo isn't like Call of Duty. Most, not all, but most do not buy Halo and completely disregard the campaign for the multiplayer. Halo has a fun multiplayer, but the Bungie Halo games told a really awesome story. People care a lot about these characters and the universe. I'm sure there is a lot of information regarding other characters or events from the Kilo 5 books or whatever else 343 assigned for pre-game homework, but the only part I cared to look into was the elites. We're going raw for the rest of the video, and just to restate, me throwing in random tidbits from the 343 required reading was just to explain what they did and how they could have made it narratively work. It is a major flaw to require your players to read a series of novels to understand the continued story of a video game franchise. With the topic of elite enemies, let's talk about alien and armor redesign, starting with the Master Chief himself. I think 343 wanted to stand out as a different developer, changing the way everything looked while staying in the visual spirit of the games that came before. So, did Master Chief's armor evolve during cryosleep? That don't make no sense. In Halo 2, Bungie wanted to give the Spartan armor a redesign, and they made it narratively work while giving us one of his best one-liners.
Tell that to the Covenant.
This upgrade made the energy shield
Recharge a lot faster!
and did away with the need to find health packs throughout the game. Wow! Technology progressing in the universe in a completely natural way? In Halo Combat Evolved, he pushed his armor to the limit, saving the universe. It was fucked up, and he needed a new set. Nobody in their right mind would question why he got an armor upgrade. In Halo 4, his armor is just different because it is. Well, moving right along, I guess. The grunts look hideous. I'm not going to belabor this point, I just think the redesign sucks balls. The grunts used to be kind of gross cute. Like they were so ugly, they were kind of adorable. The Halo 4 design is something from nightmares. Why do this, 343? Now with the elites. I hate the design. They took something awesome and made it terrible, like the entire series. But they aren't just ugly as fuck. Hidden Xperia has a full breakdown of how shitty the elite designs are in Halo 4 and 5, so I won't stay on this point for too long. I highly recommend you stay away from any of his videos regarding the Halo TV series, but I do recommend this particular video. The funniest point he brings up is that, evolutionarily speaking, this wouldn't happen. Their mandibles can cut their eyes. The elites are loved by many fans, so what does 343 do? Make the design shit and take away the ability to play as them in multiplayer.
Good job.
Everything is fine!
Alright, let's talk about Captain Del Rio, the fucking legendary galaxy brain of the franchise. This character is one of the worst additions to the Halo universe, disregarding the non-existent series of course. Right off the bat, this guy is portrayed as cartoonishly antagonistic towards Chief and Cortana. The fucking Master Chief, the biggest player in saving the entire universe multiple times, with a lot of help of course. We are all about those team efforts here. Master Chief has been labeled as missing in action for 4 years, after, with help, taking down the Covenant and the threat of the Gravemind. You'd think this dude would have been ecstatic to find him alive. He might have even been honored in some kind of ceremony for returning Master Chief to the Earth. The writers behind Halo 4 wanted you to dislike this guy immediately, and did so in one of the least interesting ways possible. Since one of my recent points was about how stupid it is to put story-critical dialogue during gameplay segments, let's watch one of Chief, Cortana, and Del Rio's first interaction, and listen to what Captain Del Rio has to say during this very calm and collected scene.
Emergency broadcast from Infinity.
This is Infinity. We're encountering unidentifiable gravimetric disturbance. We are being pulled inside a higher form of origin. Sequence to dawn. Chassis complete. Means out of
Cortana, we need to get up there.
It's not like I can get out and push.
So some of that was audible, some absolutely wasn't. Okay, I'm memeing a bit on this ridiculously constructed game, so let's get into Del Rio as a character. But real quick, where the fuck is her helmet? Did the creators really need us to see her face that bad? She left their cover to secure the entrance for Chief without her fucking helmet. She must have gotten inspiration from John Halo.
I thought you'd be taller.
Everything is fine!
Let's check out this interaction between Lasky and Del Rio.
Commander, radio's hot.
Bond to come. On what frequency? What frequency, damn it?
Infinity, this is Commander Lasky. The Helkin recon teams are down. Repeat, all birds are down. We got numerous casualties and require immediate assistance. Over.
Vital. Did you get the coordinates of that gravity well?
Affirmative, sir, but we're gonna need a bus out of here.
Make it happen.
Alright, so the ship got knocked out of the sky by a giant floating testicle, and Del Rio sent out a recon team. Does the testicle amplify the Didact's force powers, or is that the Didact using the force on an entire ship? You know, when I'm under attack from an unknown enemy and they ground my spaceship, my first thoughts aren't on defense or counterattacks. No, it's on reconnaissance, because after failing my defense, dying, and getting my ship destroyed, I'm really going to need to know the lay of the land. Why on earth would a developer of a military sci-fi gaming franchise make the leadership in said military this stupid? No, he has to have a good reason. Let's keep going.
You were sent on a scouting run in the middle of an attack on the ship.
The captain thought Infinity could provide us cover and hold off the attack at the same time.
Sir, we'll never get the wounded back to the ship on foot.
I don't know if it's too soon to ask you for a favor, but we're gonna run out of breathing room here real quick. I don't suppose you're any good at clearing LZs.
On occasion.
Oh, so Del Rio is actually retarded. What galaxy-brained individual gave this man the keys to the ship? You know, I'm going to probably say this a lot, but something Bungie Halo nailed was making the military competent, and the leadership reflected that competence. Captain Keyes, Miranda Keyes, Lord Hood, all very smart and capable individuals. Whoa, time for a blooper. While in the editing, I realized how incredibly xenophobic I was, and I didn't even mention Artas, the shipmaster, or Arbiter, or Tartarus. Also, all great military leaders in their own right. Trusted with the rank provided, because that's how militaries operate. You don't give a stupid asshole with zero regard for his troops well-being the rank of captain and an entire military ship. Del Rio clearly didn't take a page out of the Fall of Reach novel when John has a conversation with his trainer about being a leader. It's a very real mentality a military leader has to have. When in conflict, lives will be lost, but are they spent lives or wasted lives? You obviously don't want to waste the lives of your troops. It would be, and is, in Del Rio's best interest to not throw his commander, a group of Spartan 4s, the Pelicans, pilots, and Marines' lives in the garbage disposal for a recon mission in the middle of an attack on the ship. You see, this is important to note because it is lazy writing. The writers of this game don't want you to like this guy, so one of the first times he opens his mouth, they make him cartoonishly evil and stupid. They also drive the point home for you, in case you weren't paying attention, or you weren't smart enough to see what was going on. Cortana has to ask the question to really make you go, huh, this captain is a dick. I don't like that guy. The devs are cool with putting plot-relevant dialogue during in-game segments, but when we get a cutscene, we have to handhold the player through the experience. Hey gamer, we're making high art here. We don't want you to misunderstand this, but Del Rio is an asshole. Thanks, I got it. It's just the first of many lines to tell the player, hey, this Del Rio fucking sucks. He's getting these people killed and leaving them for dead.
Everything is fine!
Master Chief, this is Captain Del Rio. Lasky just radioed. You picked a hell of a time to rejoin us.
Sir, what's our status?
That satellite took down the ship's defenses and is extracting data from the ship's mainframes as we speak.
Can we break the connection?
Main point of contact's on the ship's upper hull. The fastest route is through the maintenance causeway. There's a Mantis docked inside the door. Take it. You'll need the extra firepower.
He seems fine here. very mission-focused and saving any sort of celebration for the return of Spartan 117 to humanity. I can't wait to see how grateful he is that one of the biggest players in humanity's victory over the Covenant and Flood is alive and well after being missing in action for 5 years.
What I want to know, people, is where the hell did those things come from?
There are a lot of things to worry about right now. I don't know if the origin of the Prometheans should really be at the top of the list. And why is he being so aggressive about it?
It's possible that they're native to Requiem, or whatever counts as native for a Forerunner AI.
We've never seen this type of offensive reaction from any of the other installations.
Other installations?
Mr. Lasky.
Dude, this is the Master Chief and he's not up to speed. After saving your ass, he's been in cryo for 4 years. I don't think you rate that level of annoyance, my guy. The writers really want you to hate this little shit, don't they? I don't really like how he keeps calling him Mr. Lasky. It wasn't a thing in the Bungie games, and it sure as shit isn't a thing in real life. He has a rank, dude.
Sir, Gypsy Company is prepped and ready to roll on your orders.
Thank you, Palmer. Mr. Lasky, you take point. I want boots on the ground in 60.
Captain.
This is a first contact scenario, Master Chief. Priority is to free Infinity from Requiem's gravity well and file a threat assessment back at FleetCom.
You mean we're leaving?
So for starters, leaving might actually be a good idea. The Didact seems very overpowered, and Mac rounds didn't even break the ship's shields. Getting reinforcements is always beneficial. However, the writers are cool with the fact that Chief can defeat the Didact for some reason, despite him having the Force and shit. It'll be completely contrived, so Chief is, of course, in the right here. We'll get to the Didact later, so let's not go on a Didact tangent right now.
Sir, Infinity drove the Didact back. He's vulnerable.
He isn't the only one. You know, I think you, of all people, would appreciate the benefit of living to fight another day.
Alright, the way he says this bullshit line, I get it, writers. He's an asshole. How did he get put in this position? Don't know. So, Master Chief never abandoned a mission. With help, he saved the universe multiple times from multiple threats and didn't live to fight another day. He activated and destroyed the Halo Ring, killing the Gravemind and the local flood infestation in the process, and the ship he and Arbiter were going to escape on got split in half. He has no food, no water. He's stuck out there with no way to get picked up or travel home, so he took a little ice nap. What the fuck else was he supposed to do? He should know this. The way he's acting towards Chief right now is 100% fabricated and not at all justified by the writers. Like, seriously, dude, Master Chief never ran away from a fight. So why the fuck is he saying, I'm sure you'd appreciate to live another day? That doesn't even make sense. If he really wanted to be a dick, he should have actually been trying to be a dick to the guy and say something that works. It doesn't work here. Chief knows it doesn't work here. Probably would be a really good time for Chief to be like, Captain, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. This is stupid.
Everything is fine!
Ooh, very nice. A nice long shot of Del Retardo staring out into the sunset. I'm not really sure what they're trying to convey to us here. He's done nothing but be a clown and an asshole this entire time, but embrace this moment with him as we do character.
Infinity to Gypsy Company? The air corridor to the gravity well is blocked by a network of particle cannons. Infinity's shields are still down. Open the lane for us to move up and provide air support.
Captain, what's Force Recon's assessment of the terrain?
I know you've been off the field for a while, Master Chief, but this is a blow-through op. Sending in a recon would just slow us down.
Fucking hell, Captain Del Retardo. Did you not just send out recon while the ship was under attack? But now you have a chance to do some reconnaissance and you don't want to. Man, this guy's priorities are all over the place. How did he get this job again? Don't know.
Everything is fine!
This is what people in the biz call an inconsistent character. He's willing to do some reconnaissance while his ship is currently under attack, but he's not willing to do reconnaissance before going on an op. Genius. sensational. The writers want you to not like this guy, so they make him overly stupid and mean to the protagonist. You like Master Chief, so this guy being mean to Master Chief makes me not like this guy. He's a stinky head. The funny thing about this line, out of the field, is Master Chief was literally fighting and saving the universe with Arbiter one day, took a nap and woke up fighting again. 4 years may have passed, but to Chief, that went by in an instant. This is just more, hey, look at how much of an asshole Rio is to Chief. Aren't we so good at establishing characters? No, yeah, I got it. Again, 343, thank you. I'm not supposed to like this guy.
Infinity cannot handle that kind of punishment. Not again.
This isn't about us or this ship anymore.
Sir, we've seen what the Didact is capable of. If we let him leave this world, humanity will be at risk.
Honestly, from a pragmatic perspective, he's completely right about wanting to leave. If they engage the Didact and the ship gets destroyed, they lose all the lives on board, the Didact still leaves the planet, and nobody outside knows about the Didact and his plan. Humanity will be caught completely off guard. If they were to leave, inform, and get reinforcements, they could catch and kill the Didact with overwhelming numbers. But that's like a story that has two conflicting points of view, and you can make an argument for either side. This is 343. We don't have time for that kind of nuance. We've already painted Del Rio as cartoonishly evil and stupid, so everything he says is evil and stupid. Don't think about it. Leaving the planet is only bad and stupid.
Look, I understand what you think you saw.
Think?
With all due respect, sir, I know what I saw.
And with all due respect to you, soldier, I'm not willing to jeopardize my ship because of the hallucinations of an aging Spartan and his malfunctioning AI.
This just doesn't make any sense. He knows the Master Chief isn't delusional. This isn't the Silver Timeline yet. Del Retardo's ship was literally plucked from the sky and force-pushed or pulled to the ground. Whatever threat they're dealing with is strong as shit. He shouldn't be challenging Chief on the Didact's capabilities. Master Chief's imagination cannot pull an entire spaceship out of the sky.
Sir, what if he's right?
Nav, as soon as we know we're airtight, I want a course laid into Caranay Station. Com, prepare a warning beacon.
I will not allow you to leave this planet!
Cortana.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do that.
Commander Lasky, pursuant to Article 55 of UNSC Regulation 12-14572, I'm ordering you to remove that AI's data chip and retire it for final dispensation.
I don't want to. You don't want me to.
Remove
Please.
the chip now, Commander.
Oh, look how evil and stupid he is. He's fucking stupid. No, Rio's not allowed to be mean to my Cortana. The graphics got good and they made her look hot in this game. I know you've been waiting for this glorious moment, so I'll just put it on screen.
Please. I don't want to.
Give me that chip. The Didact has to be stopped. If you won't do that, I will.
I am ordering you to surrender that AI!
No, sir.
Lieutenant! Arrest that man!
Captain!
Arrest him!
Captain!
Get word to Earth that trouble is coming. Cortana and I will do what we can back here.
Yeah, this is just dumb. Everybody has talked about this part and made memes about it. He's a cartoonish asshole. He makes terrible decisions. We all hate him, yada yada yada. The last info we get on Del Rio is Lasky talking about how they relieved him of his duty when they got back to FleetCom because they left the Master Chief on Requiem. So yeah, evil asshole abandons Chief on Requiem, and FleetCom canned his ass. Lasky, who's been the opposite of Rio in this game, is the captain now. Chief is a goddamn war hero, and Del Rio was a dick to him and then left him on an alien planet. The guy was a freaking clown of a character and doesn't belong in the Halo universe. What a shame. Hey, 343.
Good job.
Before we move on from this asshat of a character written by children, I want to talk about an interaction between Master Chief and Lord Hood.
Cairo, this is an Amberclad. The carrier shield is down. I'm in position and ready for immediate assault.
Negative, Commander. Not against a ship that size. Not on your own.
Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To give the Covenant back their bomb.
Permission granted.
I'm bringing up this scene to stress how a superior in this universe would address Master Chief, probably treat him with a little respect. Unlike Del Rio, Lord Hood is not being a fucking asshole to the Master Chief for no reason. The first part of the clip has Commander Keyes asking Lord Hood if she can assault the Covenant carrier because the shields are down. Now, she has an entire ship, but the frigates are much smaller than the supercarriers. And then Master Chief cuts in and asks if he can leave the station. Lord Hood stops what he's doing, pauses, looks up, like, how in the fuck is he gonna do this? It is Spartan 117 though. Yeah, man, go for it, because he's gonna get the job done. And he knows he has Cortana. You know, the two of them can get some shit done. That's how Captain Del Retardo should be treating the Master Chief. The people who wrote this story are incompetent hacks. Let's move on. Del Rio isn't even close to my biggest issue in this game. Don't worry, we'll get to it. Cortana. Let's stop dogging this game for a minute and talk about Cortana. Now, before we get into her story, I want to share with you a theory I have. They should call me Halo Theory. But I think there is a very specific reason people are so ready to defend this game. No, it's cool if that's you, my guys and girls. Cortana is looking like a real baddie in this game. Personally, I think the Cortana parts of this game have the best writing. Most of this game is nonsense, but Cortana's story is pretty straightforward. She's an AI that's been around longer than is normal in the universe, and is developing rampancy. She's literally thinking herself to death, and that would be a very scary way to go. She's constantly aggravated at herself for her outbursts, and for not being as competent as she's been in the past. She knows she's constantly putting Master Chief, who she cares about more than anyone, in danger on all these crazy missions they go on. Her scenes are also reciprocated nicely by the Master Chief, who is in denial of her current state and wants to save her. He's emotional and more vulnerable towards her in this game. All of their dialogue together, I give a big thumbs up. In the end, she sacrifices herself to save Chief and kill the Didact. Even though I think that is completely insane, everything to do with her is the best part of the game. Pluck it out, and put it in a better game. I'm glad we never saw her again after this. The Didact, the esoteric villain of the 343 Halo games. You all knew this talking point was coming. You didn't want it. You didn't ask for it. But suddenly, you're a Nazi. But suddenly, the Force is in the Halo universe. Seriously, why are people okay with this? Well, to be fair, no 343 game has had any longevity. Many people, including myself, play them for a bit, say nah, it's pretty shit, and go on to play something else. Outside of Halo 5's fun multiplayer that I forget about all of the time because I didn't partake. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have been a part of that. I heard it was a good time, but whatever.
So fades the great harvest of my betrayal. Even these beasts recognize what you were oblivious to, human. Your nobility has blinded you, as ever.
This is utter bullshit. Everything about this scene is fucked. Hi, human. You're dumb for not recognizing my excellence. Oh, he can make walls disappear into the ether. That's cool. Oh, fuck. He has the Force. I'm so happy to have Star Wars in my Halo. Thanks, 343.
The librarian left little to chance, didn't she? Turning my own guardians, my own world, against me. But what hubris to believe she could protect her pets from me forever. if you haven't mastered even these primitives, then man has not attained the mantle. Your ascendance may yet be prevented. Time was your ally, human. But now it has abandoned you. The Forerunners have returned. This tomb is now yours.
So, humans are Forerunners.
You are the child of my makers, inheritor of all they left behind. You are Forerunner. But this ring is mine.
343 defenders act so smug when Halo fans hate this shit. Look at what's happening here. Elites are bad guys again. Their redesign was stupid. They retconned everything to do with humans being the Forerunners' descendants.
You are Forerunner.
And they put the fucking Force into the Halo universe. Chief is done here. He's done. He's dead. I don't care how many future-telling spiders the librarian shoved up John's ass. He's dead here. The Didact knows Master Chief is a threat. He comes out of his imprisonment and grabs Chief in a way that renders him completely helpless, and then just throws his ass away. Chief is an enemy and a threat to his plans. He has him. He's done. But no, he does the dumbass trope all overpowered bad guys do in every shitty story, and he throws the protagonist away, dealing minimal damage and leaving him alive to kill him later. Your perception of humans being Forerunners in this universe is basically the litmus test on if we can be friends. Thanks, Rags. This is absolutely a retcon, and why many Halo fans that have been around since the beginning stopped fucking with 343 right off the bat. It's why I won't touch their books, why I didn't buy Infinite, and why I'm not buying their next game. Oh, but the terminals in Halo 3 left it more ambiguous than the actual game did. No. Are you going to go off of optional terminals, or are you going to go off of the main game that everyone that has completed the story will see? I know what I'm picking, and it's the obvious choice, by the way. I don't care what defenders of 343 have to say. This is as retconny as retconning can get. A life was better when humans were descendants of Forerunners, and there wasn't any bullshit passing of the mantle stuff. Now we have Forerunners as some ugly, bald vampire aliens that can predict millions of years into the future, and this asshole can use the Force. Fuck that. I'm not buying it. Oh! He can grab entire ships out of the sky. Awesome! That doesn't fuck with the power levels in this universe at all. Kinda feel like that time when Rey was holding up all of those boulders that weighed more than anything Yoda ever picked up. That didn't fuck power levels in the Star Wars universe. Now the main antagonist of this video game, that used to not have any magic in it, is using the fucking Force. Not even Darth Vader can pick up a ship like that, and he would absolutely fuck up the Master Chief. Is the Didact doing that, or the ship? Does the floating testicle amplify his powers in some way? Don't know.
Everything is fine!
But this is the state of the Halo universe now. Chief is absolutely outclassed and fucked here.
You persist too long after your own defeat.
Don't you absolutely love the banger dialogue here? How many main bad guys in movies and video games and TV shows have you heard say, "You've already been defeated, why do you keep trying?" Why, Mr. Anderson, why do you persist? Because I choose to.
Come then, warrior.
Good situational awareness there, Chief.
Have your resolution.
Yeah, dude, he has the Force, you're done. I wonder what sort of plot contrivance is going to help him out here.
Misguided.
I'm going to let this entire scene run so that you can remember just how long he did not kill Master Chief to allow Cortana to come and save Master Chief's life and kill him in the process. He has Master Chief by the balls. He should have killed him a long time ago. Why is he even keeping him alive?
Humanity's imprisonment is a kindness.
don't mind if we return the favor.
Your compassion for mankind is misplaced.
I'm not doing this for mankind.
The Didact had multiple chances during this game to kill Master Chief, and he had no reason to keep the guy alive outside of plot. If Didact kills Master Chief, the game is over, so that can't happen. But also, we're not gonna make it make sense. Like, why in the actual fuck is he just sitting there staring at Master Chief? Like, what? He has a plan. He's trying to go do some shit. Why is he just holding him there? He doesn't know this guy. He's just a very shittily written bad guy. The Didact doesn't know Chief, and was killing humans indiscriminately earlier, so what the fuck is he doing? Oh, just buying time so the protagonist of the story doesn't die because we can't think of anything more interesting. No idea what any of that was, but now he's dead, and so is Cortana. Cool. Story's over. Can't wait to see the next installment? This guy's whole inclusion in the story got me thinking, why? Why have a built-up antagonist off-screen in Halo 4, Jewel Madama, who dies in one of the worst boss fight cutscenes in Halo 5, instead of actually using Jewel as the main antagonist in this game? Build him up, the same way Halo 2 built up Tartarus. I think many players would have been a lot more forgiving if they actually did anything in the story to justify it. Oh, this Jewel Madama and his faction of elites, jackals and grunts, still hate humans? Cool, most elites are still chill with humanity, but we need to take care of this army real quick. There's no magic, there's no force powers, just one prestigious and strong elite who's built up his own army, and we can get some character development for him, he can get his own story, we could either kill him or not, but no. In classic 343 fashion, if you want to know anything more about Jewel Madama, you need to go read a goddamn book. And let me be clear, because I know somebody out there is not going to understand what I'm saying. Of course, books are not bad, so don't even, if you're typing that now, stop it. But it would be nice if 343 game developers and the storytelling in those games was competent enough to fit in a story in their story. Instead of saying, well, we put the story in the books and then you go play the games for the gameplay, but we don't put much story in there. It's just so stupid and lazy. I once had a very short-lived conversation with a 343 shill on Twitter that basically said, 343 said, you don't have to read books. So that's the truth. Well, if your only argumentative capabilities are appealing to the meta, I'm not going to entertain you. You absolutely have to read books if you want to understand pretty much anything going on in this botched universe. From the retcons to his overpowered nature, the Didact was an awful addition to the Halo universe. Alright, I think I'm over talking about the Didact, but he'll come up a little bit when I get into the next point, which I'm sure you all can guess. John 117. From a very competent super soldier to a super special chosen one and the demilitarization of Halo. You know when the creator of a work of fiction will give us some information but leave certain things ambiguous, as to let us use our imaginations to fill in the blanks? Sometimes the potential answers can be terrifying, or in other cases, exciting. This is a pretty cool creative decision that leads to many nerdy conversations. Where did that space jockey come from? Why was it there? How did Han Solo achieve such an incredible feat? How is Master Chief so damn competent? Well, that's all fine and dandy until years later, the original creator has lost his mind, or the IP of a beloved franchise gets sold or taken over by a bunch of disrespectful vultures, and they decide to give us the answers to these questions no one really wanted an answer for. The reason most would prefer things like that stay ambiguous is the answers provided are often disappointing and less creative to what we might have discussed or imagined, especially in today's landscape. In a nutshell, 343 basically took a really awesome sci-fi universe and made it super lame. Not in the Disney way of doing things by making it lame and gay, but just very fucking lame. Now, in a point that's coming in the near future, I talk a lot about Master Chief's personality in the Bungie games and how they were trying to shove the narrative of the man behind the mask in all of 343 and Paramount's iterations of this long-wasted IP. I'm obviously not going to talk about that here, because it must be saved for a later portion of the video. Master Chief was always a very competent soldier. The man was very good at his job and had a little luck in the way of being in the right place at the right time. He often had help in the way of Marines, ODSTs, Sergeant Johnson, air support, the Arbiter and other elites, and of course, Cortana. Without this support, he could have potentially died anywhere along the way or would have been less successful. Wait, Master Chief could have died without help? But the librarian said she planted seeds and shit to lead to his creation. He was meant to be here to stop the Didact. Oh, were you born after 2000 and have you been led by 343 to believe he's a super special chosen one superhero because of their shitty additions to the franchise? Well, fear not, because I'm not going to make a claim that challenges your Halo worldview without talking about it. The main problem with 343's iterations of the Master Chief is they went away from the competent super soldier that was a little lucky sometimes and had a lot of support from many named and unnamed characters. They decided to make him super duper special, akin to a superhero, that can single-handedly get everything done. They don't use ODSTs anymore because they're jealous of that game being more loved than anything they've created, and you rarely get any help from Marines. The Marines certainly have less personality as well. These changes had a trickle effect that led to the abomination of the TV series where they made John Halo a clairvoyant superhero, single-handedly wiping out enemies where other Spartans struggle, even when characters like Kai should be just under as competent as he is. Before we get into Halos 1 through 3, I'm going to do a big catch-all for every Marine or ODST you ever had on your Warthog, 50 cal, or Gauss cannon. Don't forget those motherfuckers. They were always cheering when you jumped the hog, yelling out motivational shit, and ready to die in an instant because they were helping the goddamn Master Chief. In Halo 1, Master Chief literally almost activated the Halo ring under the persuasion of 343 Guilty Spark. Yes, had Cortana not stopped him, he and everyone else would have been fucking dead. No amount of librarian seeds shoved up his ass would have stopped him from dying.
Reclaimer. When I indexed mankind for repopulation, I hid seeds from the Didact.
What will you do?
Light it.
In Halo 2, the best game in the franchise with the best story, there are so many examples of what I'm talking about, and I love it for that. In the first mission, Chief couldn't have stopped the bomb from exploding without Cortana, killing him and everyone else on Cairo Station. He then wants to give the Covenant back their bomb. Well, in this cutscene, you notice two longswords, at least I think they were longswords, blow a nice big hole in the ship for him to leave the Covenant a nice little present. Without those pilots, Chief would have smacked into the side of the ship, bounced off, and floated away like in the end of the movie Life. And now I'm being a goofball, of course. Chief isn't an idiot. If he had no way of getting in that ship, he wouldn't have jumped. Now I'm skipping a lot because of my catch-all. There are a lot of Marines helping Chief throughout Halo 2. Moving right along, we have the levels called Gravemind and High Charity. Master Chief's success from getting from point A to point B hinges on Cortana going into the Covenant control system. Without her manipulating doors and elevators, how the hell is Chief supposed to get it all done? Again, no amount of librarian future-telling spiders are going to open those doors, change the direction of elevators to slow down enemies, or any other crazy thing they get up to in these levels. I feel like I'm beating this point to death. I don't need to go through every time he gets help in Halo 3, do I? From Johnson, the Arbiter, Cortana at the end, 343 before he loses his shit, air support from Miranda Keyes. The list goes on and on. There is a lot of support in Halo. He's not a one-man-gets-it-all-done guy. He's very competent, and he'll always find a way to get things done, but it's not like he didn't have a shit ton of support. Now let's talk about Halo 4. How many missions do we get Marine support in this game?
Don't worry, I'll wait.
My favorite mission in this game, and the only one I actually enjoy playing, is Reclaimer, the mission where you spend the first half on the Mammoth. It feels the most military-centric, and honestly, all of 343's games. You get some air support, you have the support from the Mammoth, the big cannon that you have to do the targeting system for. You talk to Mr. Lasky on the Mammoth. There's a couple instances where you have Marines helping you. It doesn't quite reach what Bungie did as far as having teammates and going on a mission with the military, but it's the closest 343's ever gotten. The problem is, you get about halfway through the mission, the Mammoth runs into some debris, and the Master Chief decides he's going to go on foot by himself instead of taking a squad of Marines.
Go, Commander. We got significant blockage up ahead. I think this is about it for the Mammoth.
The command post for the particle cannons is through that trench.
Sir, I can move faster alone.
We'll see you back on Infinity, Commander.
Lasky out.
Chief's just like, I'll get her done. And he leaves by himself to go do a thing. This is not the way. No, seriously, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Halos 1, 2, and 3, Reach, ODST, they all had a very specific vibe. ODST being pretty unique, so let's just stick with the other 4. They had a really specific vibe. Master Chief wasn't a superhero. Master Chief didn't just go get everything done by himself because he felt like it. Oftentimes, if he was alone, it's just a circumstance because of previous events. Every single time he set out to do a mission, he started out with teammates. He started out with support. As the mission went on and things got more complicated and people would die, that's why he wound up by himself. But every single start to a mission, you had the camaraderie, you had the atmosphere, you felt like it was a team effort, humanity versus extinction. You don't get that here. It's just Master Chief. I'm gonna do everything by myself. And then you see where that goes in the Halo fucking TV show, where Kai and the Spartan 3s are like pinned down for whatever fucking arbitrary reason, and then Master Chief blasts through a wall and just lays waste to everything because he's like Iron Man. It's bullshit. I hate it. Halo fans hate this. I mean, just look at the intros to these missions, and look at the vibe in the military, and then compare that to, I can go faster by myself. I am Jet Li's the one.
The enemy has captured Captain Keyes and are holding him aboard one of their cruisers, the Truth and Reconciliation. The ship is currently holding position approximately 300 meters above the other end of this plateau.
So how do we get inside the ship if it's in the air? The Corps issued me a rifle, not wings.
There's a gravity lift that ferries troops and supplies between the ship and the surface. That's our ticket in.
Once we get inside the ship, I should be able to lock on to the tracking signal from Captain Keyes' neural implants.
Hit 'em, Marines! Go, go, go! The Corps ain't paying us by the hour!
We need to hold here until she can move in.
Oh man, we're trapped in here! We're screwed! We're screwed, man!
Stow the belly aching, soldier. Remember, you're a leatherneck. Cortana, if you and the Chief can get us into one of those Covenant dropships, I can fly us out of here.
We're approaching the LZ. It's gonna be hot. Get set to come out quick. Touchdown! Hit it, Marine! Go, go, go! Ground teams, you've got 2 enemy dropships coming in fast!
Damn it. Okay, people, we got company coming. Let's set the table. Engage enemy forces on site.
It'll be easier to hold them off from inside the structure. Can you get inside?
Negative. They're closing in too fast. Negative. Chief, you gotta find the cartographer. We'll keep him busy as long as we can.
Give him hell, Marine.
We'll be in a tight spot if we don't get out of here before additional reinforcements arrive. Let's find that map.
The world just felt so much more alive, and in that particular section of dialogue during game, I want to point out 2 things. 1, you're not climbing shafts and trying to fight enemies, and it's not loud. It's in a very slow and quiet portion of the level, where mission-critical dialogue happens. You can actually pay attention to it. You could even stop moving if you wanted to. The other reason is, the Marines talk about how the Covenant is closing in, and they're clearly struggling, and they want you to hurry. You're on the clock now. You want to try to get back up there before they're screwed. Also, if you lose them, then you have to fight them by yourself. Cortana says they'll be in a tough spot.
The message just repeats. Regret, regret, regret.
Catchy. Any idea what it means?
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth. And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet. Hoorah!
Regret is a name, Sergeant. The name of one of the Covenant's religious leaders, a prophet. He's on that carrier, and he's calling for help.
Immediate. Grid Kilo 2-3 is hot. Recommend mission abort.
Roger, Recon. It's your call, Sarge.
We're going in.
God, just look at how much shit is going on in the few seconds of this cutscene. There is so much happening. It isn't like 343 where it's a Spartan story. It's all about Master Chief and Cortana, who we're going to kill off in our first game, and then we'll have evil Cortana, and everyone will love that. We're really smart. We're really good at our jobs. Just look at this shit. You got Marines all over the fucking place doing stuff. You got Command talking. Master Chief is just ready to kick some ass. He's chilling in the Pelican. He'll go wherever the fight is. I just don't get it. It's like they watched Halo, pulled all of the wrong shit out of it, and put it into their very first game, and left out all the stuff that people actually like about it. God, fuck that company, man.
Get tactical, Marines!
Master Chief, get aboard that carrier. Secure the Prophet of Regret. This is the only place on Earth the Covenant decided to land. That Prophet is going to tell us why.
Whoa.
Alright, last little bit, I promise. I know you guys get it, but I'm just saying, Bungie Halo felt very lived in. It felt huge. There was stuff going on everywhere. There ain't fucking shit happening in Halo 4.
Sir, Corporal Perez, A Company. CP's this way. The lieutenant got hit as soon as we dropped in.
That's time. Who's in charge now, Corporal?
Sergeant Banks, ma'am. He's up top. Come on, I'll show you. When
I asked for reinforcements, I didn't think they'd send a Spartan.
Going back to Halo 4, I just simply don't understand why they didn't have Marines go with him. It's like they just wanted to give us that little tidbit on the Mammoth to get people like me to shut up. But the problem is, 12 years goes by, the franchise starts to suck absolute balls, and then people like me go back in time and go, huh, this was shit back then too. I just didn't notice because I was busy, and we were getting good content elsewhere. Keeps you distracted. But then, when you have a Last Jedi happen, kind of wakes everybody up to shitty storytelling. You're like, wait a minute. These people in Hollywood and AAA gaming, they get paid tons of money to make these stories and these games that I'm spending money on. And this sucks. I wonder why. Then you start looking and you're like, oh, the person who became the head at 343 doesn't actually like Halo. She won't outright say it, but there's enough context clues to know that she was never a fan. She wanted to change it into something she could be a fan of. And I don't have any concrete evidence on this, but I don't think 343 likes the military. And they got a fucking space sci-fi military franchise to make games for. Doesn't make any fucking sense. How come people who are not passionate about the shit that they're doing get these jobs? I mean, just look at the handling of the military here. The guy who's in charge is an absolute clown and written like a fucking retard. His subordinate's like this soft, super nice guy. Like, they don't trust the people playing the games to know that this is good guy, this is bad guy. You don't have any military helping you, even though that used to be the case. I just don't get it. And like I said, if everything else was doing fine and this just sucked, I don't know if I would have noticed. Maybe because I'm getting back into it with my kid, but I don't know. I just don't know. Different timelines, I guess. I can't talk to alternate reality me where 343 didn't exist and Halo either ended or, was headed by a company with talent and passion. People, I mean, even halfway competent would be nice. These people are fucking stupid. And on that note, when people call to fire 343, that is not hate speech or toxic, okay? If I fuck up at my job, I'm getting fired. You, listening to this, assuming you have a job, if you fuck up at your job, you're getting fired. 343 has done nothing but fuck up at their job. So, saying they should get fired is not toxic. It's just the reality of the world we live in. You're like, oh, but they worked so hard on it. I don't care if the product fucking sucks. And this game fucking sucks. Okay, tangent over. Moving on. I know that's not the only mission you get help, but you get my point. This is by far the only mission that felt like the military was involved. You do get the mission where you're helping the Spartan 4s clear an LZ. But then once you have your argument with Del Retardo, you just leave with your own Pelican to go do it all by yourself. Nobody was like, I'm gonna stay with him. The fuck is Del Rio gonna do? Now that I'm done talking about all the times Chief needed help to succeed, or lack thereof, in Halo 4, it's time to cover the 5-chapter-long comment before said made-up individual even starts typing it. The thing you might be thinking, I forgot to mention, and you got me on, is this little portion of the conversation with the librarian. The librarian says something about Cortana being an element of the seeds planted to lead to Chief.
When I indexed mankind for repopulation, I hid seeds from the Didact. Seeds which would lead to an eventuality. Your physical evolution, your combat skin, even your ancilla Cortana. You are the culmination of 1,000 lifetimes of planning.
Him, his enhancements, his armor, his artificial intelligence. But no, that's fucking stupid. But the video game said so, so it must be true. There's no way the librarian's future-telling spiders can predict and manipulate the future to that degree. That sounds like the writers cheaply accounting for their bullshit retcon. They pulled the Doctor Strange move in Infinity War before that was even a thing.
Went forward in time to view alternate futures, to see all the possible outcomes of the coming conflict.
Yeah, that was bullshit too. We all can think of 100 different ways the Avengers can beat Thanos, just like there could have been potentially infinite alternative futures from what the librarian was talking about. Just because the writers want to be sneaky little shits doesn't mean it works in the story. This librarian and everything to do with how it leads to Chief is some of the most contrived bullshit I've ever seen. This retcon is what unlocks Chief's underlying superpower of not turning into a skeleton when the Didact activates his new super dildo weapon. Oh, that's funny. The Didact has a space dildo and a space testicle. Where's the other one? Oh my gosh. Maybe that was going to be revealed before they abandoned the storyline from this game. Give us the Didact's other space testicle. It took the franchise
down a path I can't follow.
Or at least I didn't want to follow after the first playthrough. I didn't like it then, when I didn't even stop to think about it, so naturally I hate it more now after giving it some thought. The luck element was always this cool little thing that players thought was fun for the character. I personally never thought much of it beyond the fact that the Spartans in that universe were all but wiped out by the Covenant. I figured a bit of luck and being a jack-of-all-trades type of Spartan were the reasons he was able to survive for so long. Before playing Halo 3, I thought there might have been a chance that his luck would run out, having him and Cortana sacrifice themselves to save the day. Well, maybe in a sense, Cortana and Master Chief did die that day, but I'll save that monologue for the end of the video, because we have one more massive point to talk about. So listen, I almost skipped talking about the prologue of this game in its entirety. I had all of my voice recording done and was chugging along in the editing. My video was already over an hour long, but then I thought, what the hell, let's give it a quick watch to see if there's anything worth talking about. Holy shit, am I glad I did, because I had a bright-ass light bulb go off on my head after watching it. The writing was on the fucking walls from the beginning, with Halo and 343i's new direction. This entire prologue is building up the faulty notion that Master Chief was a broken man, and we are now going to be exploring the man under the mask. The man behind the visor. They also imply that the UNSC only view him as a piece of hardware, and that the higher-ups don't care about him or the other Spartans personally. Fuck off, 343. This bugs me more than most of my criticisms now, because this mentality is what led to the disgustingly terrible TV adaptation that I ripped apart on this channel. Here we are like 12 years later, and every new Halo installment, game or TV show, are coming from the seeds planted in this game. They are obsessed with the exploration of the broken Master Chief. They act like Chief didn't have a personality in the Bungie games when he absolutely did. Most people refer to the stupid meta argument that Bungie creators said they made Master Chief a blank slate in Combat Evolved for the player to superimpose themselves into while exploring this new universe. Well, that doesn't actually mean he is without characteristics. I think the best thing to do is to go back through the games and talk about Master Chief's personality. So strap yourself in, viewer, because I'm going full autist on this one.
Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me. Your architecture isn't much different from the Autumn's.
Don't get any funny ideas.
Alright, so as I said, Master Chief was intended to be a blank slate in Halo 1, and he's developed more characteristics as Halo 2 and 3 happened, but just because you say that doesn't make it true necessarily. He did have a few characteristics in Halo 1. The first one you notice as the game is going is his sense of humor in the face of dire situations, alongside extreme calmness. So from that we can gather he's competent, confident, and he doesn't shy away from making a joke every now and again. Now, the next bit is one of the bigger ones. First, he throws a Marine who's panicking onto the escape pod to save his life.
Oh no! Oh no!
Now would be a very good time to leave.
And then after that, he puts his hand on the shoulder of a scared Marine who doesn't want to die in space. Naturally, I don't think any of us want to die like that.
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir? I don't want to die out here.
Look! The reason I bring this up is because every little thing a character does is important in a story. Judging by how Captain Marvel acts in the first Captain Marvel movie, if she was in Master Chief's situation right here, and she had the opportunity to throw one of her comrades that she doesn't know into the escape pod, or pat one on the shoulder when they're panicking, she might just laser beam them through the wall, creating a vacuum in space and killing everyone on there, and then proceed to fly headfirst through their own spaceship, because that's basically what she did in her own movie. I'm memeing because, like I said, every little thing a character does is important. I like using Captain Marvel as my example here because she is the protagonist of this movie, because she is Captain Marvel in a Captain Marvel movie and she is a good guy. That's what the movie tells us, but she's characterized as a villain who indiscriminately kills all of the people that were her companions yesterday. The army, the team that she was on, flying headfirst through the ships that they're in, killing all of them, laughing and screaming woohoo the entire time. So we can conclude she's evil and a villain and a psychopath. Now, you can call Master Chief a blank slate, but a blank slate doesn't go out of their way to comfort scared comrades in battle or in dire situations of that kind. The same way a good guy in a story doesn't kill a bunch of people indiscriminately, because then that would make them a bad guy.
Pull it from your suit without permanently damaging your suits. Needless to say, I think we should only try this once.
Do it.
Oh, I see. The coordinate data needs to be... Right. Sorry.
I obviously included that bit just to show his sense of humor in yet another dire situation where he is about to fight the Flood and the Covenant to attempt to rescue Captain Keyes. Now we switch a little bit. He finds Captain Keyes suffering as a proto-Gravemind. His mission is to get him out of there, but he does need the chip inside of his head. He puts Captain Keyes out of his misery, gaining the piece of technology he needs to blow up the ring to stop the Covenant and also destroy the Flood, but it's obvious he doesn't want to kill Captain Keyes.
Scanning. Just dust and echoes. We're all that's left. We did what we had to do for Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated, and the Flood. We had no choice. Halo, it's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.
Now, I included this bit for a couple of reasons. The first one being, yes, they succeeded. They won. They destroyed Halo, killing all of the Covenant in the local area and destroying the Flood. However, they lost a lot of human life in the process. And as far as they know, just him and Cortana got off of Halo alive. The second reason I wanted to show this is because he's clearly emoting with his helmet here, and I know I'm shitting on 343 in this video, but I do want to take a second to shit on Paramount. Before you think I'm just being petty, the whole reason that I'm talking about this is because it was the decisions 343 made early on in their Halo video game production that led to that awful TV show that died the way it should have, only not soon enough. Now, the camera starts out a little zoomed out, you get him looking down and then shaking his head, then the camera comes in real close, and he's very obviously not handling the loss of everyone very well, despite it being the right call and what needed to be done. Camera angles and head motions can do a lot.
Tell that to the Covenant.
Alright, now let's talk about some of the stuff in Halo 2. One of the first things I want to talk about is him and Sergeant Johnson walking together to go to the award ceremony after everything that they went through on Halo.
You told me there wouldn't be any cameras.
And you told me you were gonna wear something nice. Folks need heroes, Chief, to give them hope. So smile, would you? Well, we still got something to smile about.
He's not a vain person, but both he and Sergeant Johnson know that he is a symbol of hope for the human race in their fight against the Covenant.
You look nice.
Thank you.
Slip space.
I just like this really subtle bit of character. The alarms start to sound and he immediately shifts into ready mode. He takes a staggered stance and is ready for whatever the threat is. It's exactly what you would expect from him, just a little detail that I appreciate.
Will cause destruction on a galactic scale.
I want all the information you've got on the first Halo. Schematic,
Yet another very subtle character moment. You have the Halo theme playing quietly in the background, while Cortana is getting Commander Keyes up to speed on what Halo is and what it does, and Master Chief is just staring at the screen with the ring in space, seeing another one. Now, the way he's not breaking his gaze or saying anything could say a lot, really, and I like that they don't tell us exactly what's going on in his head. If this was TV show Master Chief, he would have said, "What happened to Cobalt?" No, I'm just kidding. But you and I both know he would have, went on some sort of tangent about how awesome this was, or sad, or constipated he is. But no, he's probably just thinking about the people that died, the people that gave their lives, Captain Keyes himself, how he had to kill him, how after all that work, destroying the ring, stopping the Covenant from wiping out the galaxy, and destroying the Flood, to just another one chilling out there in space going, oh, we're gonna have to do this all again because these weird alien motherfuckers are trying to turn these things on and we don't really want to die.
Relax. I'd rather not piss this thing off. Demon.
Just being very casually cut and dry despite talking to one of his mortal enemies.
And the Flood can stop it. Boo. Your pal. Where's he going?
Earth, to finish what we started. And this time, none of you will be left behind.
That brute has the Index. And Miranda and Johnson. He can activate the ring.
If he does, I'll detonate in Emberclad's reactor just like we did the Autumns. The blast will destroy this city and the ring. Not a very original plan, but we know it'll work. No, I don't want to chance a remote detonation. I need to stay here.
This is one cutscene I particularly like. First, we have him casually walk up and ask him where his pal's going. And after he gives his little final speech about how the Covenant's going to wipe out humanity, what Master Chief does next could be seen as showing the Prophet of Mercy, or it could also be taken as just his pragmatic self going, this flood spore needs to die. Whether or not he was trying to show the Prophet of Mercy, unless that's been stated somewhere, I think that could be up to interpretation, but given the fact that his name is Mercy, I would probably go with it, but it could be a little bit of both. The next bit, Master Chief and Cortana have a conversation about how they're going to stop the ring from firing if the Arbiter fails to stop Tartarus from activating the rings. and Cortana tells Master Chief that she has to stay, which he obviously doesn't like because he needs to follow them back to Earth, leaving her on High Charity, which is infested with the Flood and a bunch of Covenant. And despite a Flood-infested Pelican coming to crash land near their location, he doesn't break eye contact with her, and you see her reflection in his visor. The shot hangs for a second. He does not want to leave her, but he has to. Just like every other character in the Halo universe, the mission comes first. It has to, because if not, humanity is doomed, and they have to set aside their feelings to win and survive. This part's obvious, and everybody who's a fan of Halo knows about this. Master Chief is clearly leaving because he needs to follow truth and finish the mission. But he, of course, has plans of coming back to save her after he's done with everything he needs to do.
Chief, when you get to Earth, good luck.
After I'm through with truth.
Don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it.
I feel like a lot of the story elements in Halo 3 are pretty self-explanatory, so I'll probably just flash them on screen and talk about the ones that I want to talk about, but we're not going to break down every one for this one.
Where is she, Chief? Where's Cortana?
Don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it.
She stayed behind.
Chief, wait! The Arbiter's with us!
Come on now. We've got enough to worry about without you two trying to kill each other.
Were it so easy.
Cocky bastard just loves to run his mouth.
Does he usually mention me?
I'm really not a fan of that line, but it does portray his character. There will eventually be a Halo 3 video on my channel, so I'll go into detail about it then.
Chief.
Cortana?
High Charity, the Prophet's holy city is on...
Cortana!
Reclaimer. I must act quickly before your construct suffers any further trauma.
Leave her alone.
If we do not take this device to a safe location, somewhere I can make repairs.
On Halo, you tried to kill Cortana. You tried to kill me.
I just want to take a second to point out that John Halo, Master Cheeks from the Paramount TV show that was thankfully canceled and will be buried and forever forgotten, would have screamed at Guilty Spark, probably thrown him across the room, punched him, maybe locked him in a room and tried to radiate him to death. With how unpredictable he is and how much of a loose cannon he is, there is actually an infinite amount of possibilities he could do, but he probably would just say, "Where's Cobalt?" I'm just bringing this up because they seem to think they understand how Master Chief was characterized, thanks to 343 gassing them up for whatever fucking reason. But the Master Chief here protected the Cortana construct that he didn't know was a message at the time, grabs Guilty Spark by the top of his noggin, and points out that the last time they saw each other, he tried to kill him, but he wasn't screaming or freaking out or acting unhinged. He just realized that Spark was not acting hostile towards him, so he was looking for more information on what's going on, and then makes the best educated decision he could make with the information he has.
Stop the Flood without firing the remaining Halo rings. Hurry, Chief.
She could be corrupted for all we know. Her solution could be a Flood trap.
We should go through...
And the Flood has already won.
I'll find Cortana's solution, and I'll bring it back.
Earth is all we have left. You trust Cortana that much?
Sir. Yes, sir. What is this place?
The Ark.
This is the Ark?
I had always assumed it was part of a shield installation, but it seems I was mistaken.
That's a first.
Not at all.
Spark, move.
We must get past that barrier, or the network will destroy it all.
Stop the rings. Save the rest.
It's scenes like this from the original Halo games that Bungie made that really drive me crazy with 343's iterations and the Paramount Plus TV show. But to summarize what's happening right here, and what they think makes an interesting character, screaming and crying loudly does not make a well-written character. Being overly emotive does not just grant you the title of being a well-written character. Throughout all of the games, Master Chief has been stoic, very competent, very confident, has a sense of humor, has his ups and downs. His shoulders are always rolled back. He has the stature that you would expect a military man to have, especially a super soldier in super special awesome armor. But look at the way he is standing right here. Right now, his head is down, his shoulders are slumped forward, and he's barely holding on to his rifle. He likes and respects both Commander Keyes and Sergeant Johnson, and now he's witnessing Sergeant Johnson holding Commander Keyes' dead body, coming to terms with the fact that he could not get there fast enough to stop the rings from firing, or save her life. He is very clearly upset about this and noticeably emoting through the helmet, and she's laying there dead, having sacrificed herself to try to stop the rings from firing and save Sergeant Johnson. The dude doesn't talk much. A head nod from him means a lot. We have to just take note that he's trying to save the Arbiter here. It's important to point these kinds of things out because modern-day Disney superheroes would either leave them there to die or shoot them themselves.
You must abide. We trade one villain for another.
You know me. When I make a promise.
You keep it. I do know how to pick 'em.
Lucky me. Do you still have it?
The activation index from the first Halo ring. A little souvenir I hung on to, just in case. Got an escape plan?
Thought I'd try shooting my way out. Mix things up a little.
Just keep your head down. There's 2 of us in here now, remember?
Unacceptable! Unacceptable! Absolutely unacceptable!
So the blank slate Master Chief sprinting towards Spark here, one could say that he's acting somewhat irrational, not shooting Spark or using any strategy in his approach, but just sprinting straight towards Guilty Spark and Sergeant Johnson because Guilty Spark just potentially killed Johnson. Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson have been friends and battle buddies since Halo 1. You could say that he likes the guy. He just lost Commander Keyes. So, again, the blank slate Master Chief, acting somewhat irrational and emotional in a moment where he's trying to stop Spark from killing Johnson. Also, he's doing so without screaming and acting like a preteen jacked up on testosterone and Mountain Dew.
I'm getting you out of here.
No, you're not. Don't let her go. Don't ever let her go. Send me out with a bang.
Chief, I'm so sorry.
There was a lot to be said about all of the cutscenes at the end of Halo 3, but we're keeping it all about Master Chief and his supposed lack of a personality. I feel like this should be pretty self-explanatory. The dude is not happy right now. He's been through a lot. He lost a couple people close to him back to back, and he was betrayed by Guilty Spark after becoming allies with him again in this game. I feel like especially professional writers, directors, game developers, writers for video games, all of the people at the top of the food chain that are making Halo content should be able to look at scenes like this and understand that there is a personality under there. Just because you can't see his face and he's not screaming doesn't mean he doesn't have a personality.
Chief!
If we don't make it,
We'll make it.
it's been an honor serving with you, John.
Alright, now with all that covered from Halo 1, 2, and 3, I would like to circle back to the reason we started this. The idea that Master Chief is,
at his core, broken.
Is absolutely bollocks. The seeds were absolutely planted in the beginning about 343 thinking Master Chief was a blank slate because Bungie said so. But just because Bungie says so, that doesn't mean that it's true. They must not subscribe to Death of the Author. If Bungie announced that Master Chief was actually a giraffe because somebody had lost their minds and decided to say that doesn't make Master Chief a giraffe. Yeah, this prologue and 343 can
eat shit and die for all I care.
I had completely forgotten its existence, but you go back, watch it, and immediately see the parallels between Halo 4 through 6 and the shitty-ass cancelled TV show. They never were fans of Halo. They wanted to change it into something else so that they could be fans of it. Well, they did, and now it's not even half as popular as it used to be. Alright, now we're going to go through a few points that I wanted to make, but weren't big enough to justify their own section. So in no particular order, let's talk about some other things that I thought were pretty fucking lame in this game. The Promethean enemies are trash. I was never into the gameplay when they were the main enemy of that mission. It seems odd to make a faction of elites your enemies because they wanted the nostalgic hit for old fans of the games, to then make half the combat against this new force where the combat is dull and annoying. Why not use the Flood? I love fighting the Flood. I'm one of those weirdos that love the Flood levels like the library. The combat with the Prometheans is so aggravating on harder difficulties. You get the stupid floating drones placing shields in front of the knights, bringing them back to life and throwing your grenades away. Now, if you haven't figured it out by now, I mainly focus on storytelling. I don't really spend a whole lot of time talking about game mechanics, but story-wise, the Prometheans don't work anyways because the Prometheans were humans made into these weird monster robot things by the Forerunners, but humans are Forerunners, we're their descendants. At least that's what Halo 3 said, but, retcons. Personally, I just really hated them as an enemy. I didn't care to learn anything about them the same way I did for every single alien race in the Covenant. I remember back when Halo 2 came out and I bought the Silver or Platinum edition, and the game came with a playbook, and it was so cool when those books came with the game. I remember sitting in the back seat of my parents' car, driving back from GameStop, opening that book and just reading as much as I could before we got there. I was so excited. I was reading about the hunters and the elites and the grunts and all the weapons. It was so cool. If I got a game book for this game, I wouldn't give a fuck about the knights or the little dog things. It's not like they would do that anymore these days anyways. All digital, baby. But yeah, Prometheans are lame, and I'm happy they weren't in Infinite. I, for the life of me, will never understand why 343 didn't give us an Arbiter-focused game. Why the hell was Arbiter not in Halo 4? I don't know how this point will go over with people, but here is a direction I would have preferred in Halo 4. The Arbiter is a fan favorite in the Halo universe. I thought it would have been a lot cooler to have Halo 4 being an Arbiter and RTAS game that ends with the rediscovery of Master Chief and Cortana. I'm not sure narratively where it should go, but I do know that people miss the Arbiter and having playable elites, including myself. I started a script that I've been tinkering in the background of a Halo 4 What If, with this concept being the kicking off point. I have mixed feelings about it, but if any of you are interested in a video like that, let me know in the comments. I think it could be a fun video to make, but who knows. I'll briefly touch on the multiplayer here. Now, I know the multiplayer element is something people talk about a lot. As I said earlier, I was late to the party on Halo 4. At the time, Wi-Fi wasn't available in the barracks I was living in, so I literally played no Halo 4 multiplayer until I bought the MCC. In that game, I turned off Halo 4 as an option because I didn't enjoy the few games that I tried. I don't know if that's contentious, but it just wasn't for me, and I also don't have enough experience to really talk about it. Well, to wrap this video up, I had been seeing the sentiment that Halo 4 wasn't that bad of a game, and I wanted to revisit it. It is that bad, people. It is very bad. From the nonsensical narrative, the retcons, putting the Force in Halo, making enemy elites with no context, requiring book reading to understand the story they're trying to tell, to just the sheer lack of understanding what people liked about Halo in the first place. It doesn't help that Halo YouTubers, at worst, have been sucking off 343 or at best sugarcoating their criticisms over 343's entire run. Even worse, a lot of them were towing the line of good or bad on the Halo series, which should make you question their integrity. If somebody's a fan of Halo and they're giving that show positive reviews at all, you might want to reconsider why you follow them. I'm not kidding. That show is an insult to Halo in every way possible. 343 has been allowed to fail upwards during their entire reign at Microsoft. The lack of criticisms towards how my favorite universe has been handled has awoken the Trash Pandalorian, where I can criticize the bad and remind people just how great Bungie Halo was. Like I said, the people saying, "not that bad," are the people responsible for Halo's destruction as an IP. To me, and a large portion of the fanbase, Halo ended chronologically when Chief went into cryosleep at the end of Halo 3, and the Swords of Sanghelios are living happy and fulfilling lives in their homeworld. The Arbiter and Artas wifed up some fine-ass female elites and had some little elite babies. If I knew this was going to be the direction Halo was going to go, I would have preferred Master Chief and Cortana died at the end of Halo 3, so 343 couldn't get their incompetent and grimy fingers on them. I mean, just look how they massacred Cortana. Fucking embarrassing. The company's a joke. Well, in a sense, maybe Master Chief and Cortana did die that day on the Forward Unto Dawn. 343 Chief may sound like Bungie Chief, move like him and emote like him, but this ain't him. Personality-wise, he's pretty similar, outside of opting to do everything by himself instead of operating as a team in Halo 4, but they changed his position as a part of this universe from hyper-competent to super special chosen one, and that's super lame and gay. I personally don't headcanon any of 343's games, so I just don't even care to associate this iteration of Chief with the OG. Quite honestly, a lot of people don't outside of the younger Halo gamers, and the people that have been Halo YouTubers, infected with toxic positivity. Side note, my daughter doesn't like Halo 4 either, and I didn't say shit. I said, hey, let's try this out, and then when we were about halfway done, I asked her how she was liking it, and she had some criticisms, and I'm like, damn. This little kid has a better gauge of quality than a lot of adults these days. It could be that she played the Bungie games first and then played that. I know a lot of people came into Halo 4 and only played 343 stuff, which I don't know why the fuck you would do that, but anyways, I'm rambling again. This is why the franchise is struggling so bad when it used to be a juggernaut. People, the regular people who work whatever job, have families, or just don't have much time for gaming, have left or are leaving, and it sucks. Their hobbies aren't directly linked to their careers, and their voices aren't heard, but it's heavily reflected in the player count. I, for one, am tired of the mishandling of this IP. My career, family, life, fitness, however you want to look at it, are tied to gaming in the smallest way imaginable. I started dedicating my channel to Halo because I want to voice my opinions on how much 343 has fucked this amazing game, and try to champion the blue-collar, white-collar, family guys and gals out there who are as disenfranchised as I am. I work 55 to 60 hours a week to provide for my family, and I spend a little bit of time before bed working on these videos, hence why it takes me so long to make them if they're at this length. If Halo were doing well, there is a very strong chance I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd tune into a couple games at night when I have nothing else going on, and then go to bed and life would resume as normal. Unfortunately, we're living through an unprecedented time of our favorite IPs going up in flames, led by spiteful and incompetent hacks that never liked the original version of the thing that they're adapting or continuing. Insert literally anything here. Star Wars, MCU, Halo, The Witcher. Well, Halo is pretty much fucked at this point. I don't know if they have the ability to course correct, but they'd have to retcon all of their own retcons to make it work. An amazing and faithful trilogy of movies would revitalize the hell out of it, but it wouldn't do much in the way of gaming. We really need a kick-ass game with an amazing story, going back to Halo's roots. It would honestly be in their best interest to start over with a new Halo 4. I know a lot of people like it, but they just broke too much with this game. And if you're in the camp of it's alright or it's fine, that's not really a strong hill to die on. And I hope I've edged you towards realizing this story fucking sucks. You really had to be there to understand what it was like. The hype surrounding Halo 2 and 3's release was legendary. People lined up in the streets to finish the fight. It was a beautiful time in gaming, one I don't think will ever happen again. Going from no online gaming to online gaming during its infancy was such a surreal experience. The friends you made, the trash talking, the hype for the story in Halo and the hype for chasing achievements and unlocking armor. People would log in and see their friends from different parts of the world that they'd been playing with for months or years. And at the time, there was nothing like it. Every Saturday morning, you could count on one or two of your buddies waiting on you to log on. There eventually came a time where friends logged in to play together for the last time, and they didn't even know it. Now, if you thought I was going to end this like Never Knows Best when he was cucking out over Skyrim, then I gotta tell you, Daddy didn't raise no bitch. It was a great time that I'll remember forever, and now I'll be shouting from my small corner of the internet that 343 has never made a good game. I wish Halo was doing great, it deserves it, but we'll always have the 5 games that matter to go back and play whenever we feel like it. So there it is. Halo 4, the beginning of Halo's destruction. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are a 343 Halo fan, I hope I at least pushed you to think more critically about the game. Like I said, the Cortana bits are the only things I can actually praise in this game, and the rest of it is an embarrassment to be attached to what Bungie made. I feel like Halo has been going through a similar downfall that Star Wars has been going through. Plenty of people like me love those games and have been getting increasingly disenfranchised with every new installment. 343 never really knew what they were doing, right from the get-go, and it sucks. Why haven't we had a Flood horror game with ODSTs or Marines? Why haven't we had an Arbiter-focused game, which should have been what Halo 4 was? Why haven't we had playable Elite since Halo Reach? Why is there such a lack of storytelling in the 343 campaigns, forcing people to go read about it if they want to know what's going on in the Halo universe post-Halo 3? Why has it become so common for massive IPs to be handed over to completely incompetent assholes that never cared about the franchise? Why do the majority of debates about Halo focus on sprint mechanics instead of the lackluster storytelling? Why am I asking you so many questions? Well, I just don't understand how something so lucrative and beloved got to this point, but I guess that's just the way it goes these days for all of our favorite IPs. I've said this previously in a video, but it isn't all doom and gloom. I've had people comment on my videos that the terrible TV show or garbage 343 games pushed them to go play the Bungie games, and now they're super fans or on their way to being super fans. One of my coworkers is on Halo 2 right now and is loving the games. I've infected him with the good stuff. If you're like me, you have kids that you're exposing to the games and action figures, and watching their imaginations explode can hit you with all the kinds of nostalgia and good feelsies we had back in the day. If they're gonna keep making shitty content for the things that we like, that's the kind of stuff we have to bank on, and just hope that somebody can course correct certain things someday, or somebody makes something new that we like. Like a good military sci-fi where humans on the brink of extinction with an alien race that hates them and wants them to be wiped out. And there's no magic, just advanced technology, hyperspace, cool weapons, cool big aliens with mandibles. No games like that are really coming to mind. Maybe they should make something like that one of these days. So that will be all I'm going to say for the time being on Halo 4. I had to change the next part of my video before upload because what I was going to say was once my channel gets enough subscribers to stream, I'm very much looking forward to playing through all the Halo games with you guys as long as my little gaming laptop I run this channel on can handle it. Well, I recently surpassed 500 subs. Thank you very much, by the way, you fine ladies and gents. Now streaming is definitely something to expect in the future. I just need some ideas for Trash Pandalorian's second channel for all streaming uploads. If you have any, please drop them in the comments. The only thing I thought of was something to do with Pandalore, like Mandalore, but I know you guys will be more creative than I am. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and gals at the next one.